So with that being said, I will just go ahead and move on, since the pups are wild at bay at Doug's house. And
they are really not behaving right now.
Understood. So when we start into here, again, this can be used in multiple types of ways. Many people just want to be able to see their application most of the time. People have drawn away from using a Cafe One layout because they think it can be burdensome, takes up too much real estate, whatever their reason being here. But what we've been looking into lately is how can we use this in a couple of different ways than what we've normally been using. So we're going to go ahead and start into here. We're going to go ahead and pull up a new frame that we're going to put inside of here. And one of those things that we might want to do is to add maybe a chart as opposed to an application. We've seen the demos over and over again of using applications in there. And we're going to get to those here in just a minute. But again, maybe what I want to do when I first start in here is, instead of putting in, again, my preference might be to use something like the supplier master and have this pulled in here. So I could set up linking on that. But for the moment, I just want to show you that, this might be something, and then we could link our address book number into the supplier, and so that information would be pulled in directly. And that's a great use, and we're going to dive into that a little more here in just a moment. But an alternative to that would be, and I don't know if many people are using it this way, but I feel like if we're going to use this screen, an inquiry screen, as a dashboard as opposed to a workbench, maybe we want to use something like the OneView supplier ledger inquiry with some queries that have already been set up here. So if you haven't used these, any of the charts, the Jet Analytics before, they're always using this, any number that has an X behind it. That indicates that it is a OneView version or OneView inquiry type program, and that's where we can generate the charts that we'd like to use. So real quick, I'm going to just jump out of there, and I'm going to go right over to the OneView supplier ledger, supplier ledger inquiry, so that you can see this is where this information is being created from. So if I come inside of here and I go over here to my query manager, you can see that I have several of these various queries that are set up inside the OneView supplier ledger inquiry. And that's what I want to use. I want to be able to be drawing in specific types of queries for information that are relevant to the tasks that I'm using that are query related, or inquiry related, excuse me. So I come back into my supplier ledger inquiry, and inside the layout manager, and this is where I'm going to go ahead and pull in that information. So as opposed to that straight program, I'm going to pull in the OneView supplier ledger program that I have set here, and I'm going to select a form. And in this instance, I'm just going to let this one default in, average days. This might be relevant to if someone who is working with vouchers, looking at payments that need to be made, etc. I'm going to leave that as it is. I don't need to do a link because I'm using this as a chart. So I'll just go ahead and do a quick save on it. And you can see in this instance here, real quick, all of a sudden I've got a kind of a different view of this. We've not seen this really put together quite this way, but it works as a dashboard as well if I need that. And I can flip between using something like this with a chart and maybe a different one, which is much more practical with having a second application on here. So, I could very, very quickly save this as maybe my supplier ledger inquiry with chart. There we go. And I'd save it.